2, 1. And you're with the Charlotte Bats podcast presented by the Stables Network. All right, Rick, take it away.
Hey guys, this is Rick Curti of the Charlotte Bats. I'm the founder and CEO. Welcome to the Charlotte Bats podcast. I'm here in beautiful Charlotte, North Carolina, my adopted hometown. I'm actually originally from Los Angeles. I grew up a big Dodger fan. And speaking of Dodgers and speaking of baseball, wow, did you hear the big news that happened, not too long ago about the Houston Astros? The Major League Baseball suspended their manager and their GM for a year, and then the owner just said, "Oh, screw it," they fired him. So AJ Hinch was just fired. So that's his big blockbuster news. This is something I've never heard of a team being caught cheating, especially in the World Series, and it's just sad. And now the Red Sox allegedly are in the hot water too. I know they had some draft picks taken away by the Astros. They got absolutely skewered by Major League Baseball, so the owner just fired the GM and AJ Hinch, the manager of the Astros. And well, what a huge black guy in baseball this is. Not only you have one team cheating, but now you have two, because the Red Sox are allegedly behind it too. So yeah, and it's so are the Dodgers going to get the World Championship rings? That's my question. Should they get the World Championship rings? So, if it looks like the Astros is true and looks like maybe the Red Sox may be true, where the Dodgers going to get the ring? I hope so. So if that's the case, so we'll see what happens. I doubt it. I doubt that happens that the Dodgers get their ring, but I hate to win it like that because some team was caught cheating. It's kind of sad that happened, but I mean that's life, and it's just sad that all this happened. So this is a big news right now. It's shocking, it's sad, and it's really stupid because you're going to get caught with all the technology, with the internet, with Facebook, with social media, and it's a 24-hour news cycle, not only on cable news, but just on Facebook and just on Twitter and all these other social media. You're going to get caught. And that's the crazy thing, is that either they're incredibly arrogant or they're incredibly stupid or they're both. But I just can't believe that people try to do something like this where they get caught cheating, stealing signs, it happens, we all see, what the pitchers they're tipping off or whatever. And, teams always steal signs. It's really not a big deal, but when you do it with technology and you're doing it with the internet and you're doing it by videotaping people and it's just crazy that people still think they can beat technology, but you can't. And I'm sure they're not the first to do this. They were just the first to get caught. You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens with the Red Sox. I'm sure they're going to get the same fate. Like I said, if this is the case and they're cheating, you got to give. I'm waiting for the Dodgers to get their ring. Hopefully they'll get the parade and they'll be the world champions now. And man, it's insane that this happens. I remember when Louisville got their title stripped away with Rick Pitino, and now the Astros, and now maybe the Red Sox, and just a huge black guy, not just in baseball, but in sports. You hear so much controversy with the Patriots, another Boston team, ironically, who are caught videotaping the Bengals practice. Of all teams to spy on are the Bengals, the worst team in the NFL. And then they said it was an accident. And then allegedly, they had the Deflategate, which to me, it was overblown. Most teams that have use an undersized football usually get a little fine or told not to do it. Panthers got in trouble for doing that. They just got told not to do it again. So to me, that was overblown. But like the videotaping the Jets practice, all that stuff, seems like the controversy is always with the Patriots. And now you got another Boston team like the Red Sox, and now you got the Astros. And it's just mind-boggling why people do this. It's just so stupid. You're going to get caught. And they really laid the hammer down. I doubt AJ Hinch will be managing in baseball anymore. I think he's done. He's probably like Pete Rose, like nobody's going to touch him anymore. Maybe he'll be a manager of some minor league baseball team somewhere in the Boondoggies, but other than that, he's done. And just a black eye in baseball, but it's a black eye in sports. So that's the big news right now about the Astros, and I'm sure the Red Sox are next. And we'll see. Wouldn't be surprised if 4 or 5 other teams are accused of doing this. Like I said, the Astros, not the first team to do this. They're just the first team to get caught. And that's the sad part about it. So I'm ready for the Dodgers to get their championship ring, get their parade, and we'll see what happens from there. But speaking of football and the Patriots, very exciting news here in Charlotte. We just got a new head coach in Matt Rule. Matt Rule is like one of the biggest names to come out of college for the last couple of years. And Panther Nation not very happy with him. They see his record. Oh, he's got a losing record. Yeah, but you got to understand, he took over 2 horrible programs. Temple, I didn't even know they had a football team. And he made them a very good team, a bowl game. He was always rumored to go to Penn State, where he played. James Franklin's there, of course. Then he went to Baylor, and you talk about taking over a horrific situation in Art Briles when he had all these players that he recruited that he knew about were accused of sexual assaulting, rape, and I almost got the death penalty. And of course, Art Briles was fired, and that's probably the end. Last we'll hear of him. Last I heard of him, he was coaching some professional football team in Italy. I had no idea that Italy had professional football, but apparently they do. That was the last I ever heard of him. That was a couple of years ago. Have no idea what he's doing right now. I think his son is a coordinator somewhere, I think in Arkansas, if I'm not mistaken. So he took over that program, and they had, I think, 1 or 2 wins his first season, and of course they had this great season this season. Went to a bowl game, fell a little short, but he's taken over 2 horrible programs. Well, guess what? He's taking over now a 3rd horrible program in the Panthers, because they were absolutely abysmal. Not only last year, but especially this year. They started out 0-2. Cam Newton got hurt. They put in Kyle Allen. He looked like Peyton Manning 2.0. I'm like, man, we found the quarterback of the future. And then after they played the 49ers, wonk, wonk, wonk. It wasn't meant to be. He struggled, fumbled, threw in a lot of interceptions, and unfortunately we threw in our rookie quarterback out there from Davidson, North Carolina, former Mountaineer, Will Grier. And, he was kind of set up to fail. We kind of just threw him out there, didn't do very well. People are like, oh, he's terrible. Why did you throw him out there? I mean, what do you expect? So Tepper just got tired of it, of course. The embarrassing loss to the Redskins in Charlotte. And that was it for Ron Rivera. And ironically, now he's the head coach of the Washington Redskins. So I wish him nothing but the best. He had a great 9 years here. He did a very good job. But what's wrong with the Panther fans is that they're happy with very good job. And I'm not. I want to see a Super Bowl in my city. I want to see a Super Bowl in my state. The only pro championship we have are the 2006 Carolina Hurricanes. And I wasn't even living here yet. I was still living in Las Vegas. So I didn't even see all that. And we've come close with 2 Super Bowls, but you know what? Close but no cigar. We have not won one yet. Tepper comes from the Steeler organization, where they're used to championships. They're used to having a coach there for 20, 30 years. It's amazing. I only had 3 head coaches in that organization. That's just amazing. And that boggles the mind when you see all the head coaches that the Browns have. There's a revolving door. And so we'll see what happens with Matt Rule. I think it was a great hire. I think he's going to do a great job. He's there for 7 years, got a ton of money. So we already know that the Panther organization are going to be rebuilding for the next 2 years. So I know people are going to give this guy a hard time because they are in Ron Rivera denial. They're just sad that Ron Rivera left. And like I said, he did great, but it was just time to move on. And now the Panthers need to stop wanting to be a okay organization, or at least we're not the Cleveland Browns, as they tell me. Um, so hopefully we can win a championship, and we'll see what happens. And speaking of the Browns, they just hired their new coach, this Stefanowski guy. I never heard of him, but he was a coordinator for the Vikings. Apparently, he was the runner-up last year to Freddie Kitchens, who I have no idea how in the world he got a head coaching job. I had said from the very beginning, and I said to Cleveland Browns fans who absolutely skewered me, and I said the Cleveland Browns are not going to the playoffs. They're going to go like 6-10, 7-9. It's not going to work out with Odell. It's not going to work out with Baker. And this guy they hired, I have no idea who he was. They never, ever, ever should have gotten rid of Greg Williams. He was the reason why they turned it around. When they got rid of Hugh Jackson, they did this complete turnaround. Baker looked like Peyton Manning. They looked like this great team on the rise, and carry that momentum till next season. And either they didn't want Greg Williams or he didn't want to be there. Really don't know what happened. They should have locked that door and begged them, please be the next head coach. And of course, Browns being the Browns who they are, thought, nah, we're good. Let's just get our coordinator, this Freddie Kitchens, whatever his name was. We got Odell Beckham now, and it was a complete disaster. That's the Browns. They're cursed. I don't know what to say. They are the worst run organization ever. They haven't been successful since the 60s with Jim Brown and, of course, the legendary Paul Brown, the owner. And they have just been absolutely abysmal since coming back in 1999. I think they've gone through 30 quarterbacks. I don't know. I lost track of head coaches. They keep getting head coaches that, they're not going to work. I wish this guy the best. I just don't think it's going to work. I give him like 2-3 years. And it's sad. It's unfortunate. You have an owner that just is clueless. He's like Daniel Snyder. He's absolutely clueless. He has no idea what he's doing. I don't even think he cares. I just think he's happy that he owns the team. And it's just really sad what's gone with it. It's embarrassing what's going on with the Browns organization. It's absolutely embarrassing. I guess they just believe their own hype. And they just thought, we're going to be okay. We got Odell Beckham. We got the next Peyton Manning and Baker Mayfield. We'll just put in some coach there. We're going to do great. And, of course, they got rid of their GM. They got rid of their head coach. They need to get rid of the owner. He needs to go away. He's the problem. So we'll see what happens with the Browns. They're not going to make the playoffs next season. They're probably not going to make the playoffs the next and the next and the next. Their coach will be there for 3 years. And, I don't even know why anybody would want to. I know you want to be a head coach, but I don't know why anybody would want to be a head coach of the Cleveland Browns. Matt Rule was actually interviewed for the Cleveland Browns job. He turned it down. Okay, this is a guy that wants to go to the NFL. He's been wanting to go to the NFL. He was supposed to go to the Jets last season. That got fouled up. Went back to Baylor. Did really great. He's been wanting to go to the pros for a long time. He turned down a head coaching interview with the Cleveland Browns. Now, how embarrassing is that? You've been wanting to go to the NFL for years and years and years. You want to go to the NFL. Everybody knows you want to go to the NFL. And you turned down the Cleveland Browns head coaching interview because you know how abysmal they are. I actually thought they would get Josh McDaniel. I thought, nope, he's from Ohio. He wants to be a head coach. But I think he did the right thing by not going there. He knows it's going to be a mess. He's left the Patriots before, and it took him a while to get back. And I actually think he'll take over for Belichick when Belichick decides to retire. So I think that's why Josh McDaniel's staying. And we'll see what happens with Brady. I give him a couple years. And the crazy thing about Brady, I'm not the biggest Tom Brady fan, okay, but to burn his jersey after you lose in the playoffs, I mean, how spoiled and how entitled are Patriot fans? This is a guy that is probably the most decorated quarterback of all time. He's been to more Super Bowls, won more Super Bowls. He leads in everything in the playoffs and Super Bowls. This guy's clutch. You know, him or Joe Montana are the greatest quarterbacks. You know, they're either one or two. That's it. Hall of Famer. Never going to see a quarterback like him. A guy that nobody ever heard of. Just come out of nowhere and be this legendary superstar. And he burned his jerseys. That's just stupid. I don't understand. Why do you burn something that you bought? Yeah, that's teaching them a lesson. Let me burn Tom Brady's jersey. Yeah, they'll show them. They'll show Nike. They'll show the NFL. Yeah, I paid for it, but I'm gonna burn it. Yeah, they really care. It's just so stupid. And of all people, Tom Brady, you're burning his jersey because you're not happy that you guys lost. Okay, well the Titans they beat the Ravens. Okay, they're a great team. They're a team. There's always a Cinderella team in there. The Titans are the Cinderella team right now, the NFL. You got Henry. Tannehill just came out of nowhere. He was written off. The Dolphins gave up on him. He looked like he was going to be a backup for the rest of his career. He's comeback player of the year right now. He might be going to the Super Bowl. But it's just crazy how the spoiled, entitled Patriot fans who have just been successful, since, 2001 and are still strong. I mean, they went 12 games and it's a off year for them. It was an off year for them. They were a wild card and only had 12 wins. Tom Brady only threw for 25 touchdowns, only threw for over 4,000 yards, and he's 42 years old. And he wants to play till he's 45. And he burned his jersey because they're mad because they didn't go to the Super Bowl or at least go to a conference championship. I'm telling you, man, if that's not the definition of being spoiled, I don't know what is. So shame on you, New England Patriot fans, for doing that. And now people saying, well, maybe Tom Brady will go. He's not going anywhere. He's not going to the Chargers. He's not going to the Colts. He's not going to the Panthers. I would love for him to go to the Panthers. He ain't going to the Panthers. He's going to stay in New England. They're going to give him a ton of money. They'll give him a 2-year deal, and then he'll go to the Hall of Fame. Will he win another Super Bowl? I don't think so, but he's won more Super Bowls than anybody. He's been to more Super Bowls. He don't need to win another Super Bowl. His legacy is cemented. He's like LeBron James. There's really nothing for them to do is just add on to their stats. They could retire right now and go to the Hall of Fame. They're walking in the Hall of Fame. He should be preparing a speech right now. So that's my take on it. And like I said, I'm not the biggest Tom Brady fan. People want to call him a system quarterback. It's just crazy. He's a great quarterback. And it's sort of like Joe Montana and Bill Walsh. Bill Walsh would not be Bill Walsh without Joe Montana, and Joe Montana would not be Joe Montana without Bill Walsh. It's the same thing in New England. Tom Brady would not be anything without Bill Belichick, and Bill Belichick would be nothing without Tom Brady. It's just a duo. They work good together. So that's my take on that. So it's crazy. They want to burn his jerseys. I'll take Tom Brady, 42, 52, 62, 72. Come to the Panthers. I'll show you around. We need a quarterback. So that's what's happening in sports right now. A lot of excitement there with the Panthers. Craziness going on in baseball. And like I said, I'm from Los Angeles. I'm actually taking a trip. I'm actually going to be in LA in March. Haven't been back in years. Grew up originally from Torrance, where I'm from. We'll be visiting my brother and sister there. It's been a while, and actually got tickets to the LA Wildcats. And a lot of people are probably like, "Who are the LA Wildcats?" Well, there's a new football league coming. It's called the XFL, and I'm really excited. I've been down on the NFL for a while. All these rule changes, the games take too long. Fighting players for wearing Christian headbands or wearing your socks too high. Roger Goodell is the judge, jury, executioner there. He always plays like, "Oh, I didn't know that," or "I can't do that." Of course you can. You're the commissioner. You do whatever you want. So I've been kind of not really enthralled with the NFL lately. So I'm very excited to see the XFL. And they got teams in Los Angeles, of course. They play in Carson. My brother lives there. Got a team in Houston. They got a team in Tampa. St. Louis got a team. New York's got a team. Got some great head coaches and Kevin Gilbride. Just great coaches. June Jones in Houston. Mark Trestman in Tampa. Bob Stoops is actually the coach of the Dallas Renegades. And it's going to be exciting. They're playing at the old Texas Rangers baseball stadium, Globe Life Park. They're going to transform it into a professional football, professional soccer stadium. And that's the right way to go. I hate to see things torn down. We tear everything down. We tear down the Hornets arena. The new stadium, eventually Tepper would want that. They'll tear that down. So it's nice to see old stadiums transformed into something new. So I applaud the Rangers for doing that. So I'm excited to see the XFL. It starts in less than a month. It starts in February. It starts a week after the Super Bowl. And I'm excited because I love football. They made all these cool rule changes. They made the game safer, faster, quicker. And I'm sure the NFL will steal it and take credit for it, like they took credit when the old XFL was there in 2001. All the mic'd up coaches and the mic'd up players. That's the XFL that did all that. The big camera in the middle of the field, XFL did that. So they'll take their ideas, and of course they'll take credit for it. But I hope it does very well. I think it will do very well. It's not competing with the NFL. It's right after the NFL season's over. It's a 10-game season. There's only 8 teams. I'm sure they'll expand. Maybe Charlotte will get a team. We don't know. So we'll see what happens in their first season. I've been following this for the past 2 years. And I'm excited. I'm excited to see a live football game in the spring when I go out there in March, taking my brother with me. And we'll see what happens. So I hope Mr. McMahon, hope it works out. I think it will. People love football. They want to see more football. I know I like to see more football after the NFL season's over, just like I love to see baseball. I'm going through baseball withdrawal right now. So we'll see what happens. And as I said about Matt Rule going to the Panthers, got more exciting news that came out of Charlotte. We have a professional MLS team coming. The MLS expanded now to 30 teams, and Charlotte's the 30th team to get a professional Major League Soccer franchise. So that's exciting. I'm excited, but I'm not a big soccer fan or football fan. I think it's boring. I fall asleep through it. I'm tired of seeing 0-0, 1-0, 2-0 games. I'm not a fan, but I'm a fantasy professional sports to come to our city. And I think eventually that'll lead to Major League Baseball coming to our city and state. So I'm excited about that. We'll see what happens. They'll be playing at Bank of America. The Mr. Tepper, David Tepper, is the new, fairly new owner of the Panthers, is the one that got the ball rolling. He wanted to see a MLS team. We've been rumored to get one for last couple of years, and he finally got it through. They don't start till 2021. There's no name, no colors, no nothing right now. Just we got a team, and we'll see what happens. I think it'll be successful. And hopefully that'll be a springboard to, of course, Major League Baseball coming to Charlotte, North Carolina, which is something I'm pursuing. And the great thing is that we're on that list still from the commissioner. And we're just waiting to see what happens with Tampa Bay, waiting to see what happens in Oakland. Hopefully they'll get new stadiums. And it's very exciting news. And you see a lot of teams that want to expand. One of the owners of the Orlando Magic, he actually wants to put a team in Orlando. And a lot of people are probably laughing at him, saying, man, you got 2 teams in Florida that can't survive. They have terrible attendance. Why would you want to put a team in Orlando? But you know what? I think it's a good idea. I really do. I think Tampa Bay should probably move to Orlando. If you're going to put a professional team in Florida, why not Orlando? Why not build a stadium near Disney World? I'm sure the traffic won't be helpful. But Florida, for some reason, Florida is struggling with Major League Baseball. They'll talk about Tampa is really in St. Petersburg, and you got to drive over a bridge, and it's a hassle to get there. But you got a team in Miami, in downtown, surrounded by, people from Cuba who love baseball. They're not going to the games. They first said that it was the owner, and he was a terrible owner, which he was. He ripped off the state out of $600 million to build them a new stadium. He's gone. And now you got Derek Jeter there, who's probably one of the most beloved baseball players ever, one of the most beloved Yankees ever. He owns the team. They're still not going. And he actually thought that they were going to go see the Marlins because of him. And I think he's realizing that, And I just don't know what's up with these great athletes that make these terrible owners. We have one here in Charlotte, and Michael Jordan, probably the greatest basketball player ever lived. He's a terrible owner. He was a terrible G. Fired him. Probably one of the worst draft, the number one draft pick at Kwame Brown out of high school. It was a complete and utter bust. And now he's the head owner of the Hornets, and they're just irrelevant. They just let their best player. He's doing great things in Boston. Boston looks, with Kemba. And the Hornets they're just the Hornets. It's sad. And and I don't understand these owners that are terrific players. You think on paper they probably make the best owners. They're terrible. Magic Johnson's another one. He was a terrible coach when he coached the Lakers for a short period of time. It was a disaster when he was a GM with the Lakers. They're just players they're these great athletes, these superstar athletes, and yet when they become owners and coaches, I guess they expect everyone to play as good as them, and they don't understand, why aren't they as good as me? Why can't they shoot like a three-pointer like me? Why can't they dunk like me? Why can't they dribble like me? Why can't they hit a baseball like me? Why don't they have that passion like me? I don't get it. You would think they make the best of the best owners, or the best managers are players that had okay careers. Pat Riley I don't even know if he played in the NBA. He played for Kentucky. Phil Jackson was a very good basketball player with the Knicks. Usually the best coaches and the best owners they never did that good. They were okay. Joe Torre, he had a very good baseball career. But he's, one of the best managers ever with the Yankees and the Cardinals and the Braves. It's just crazy. And so I think Derek Jeter is really just experiencing and realizing, man, maybe being an owner is not as great as it is. I wouldn't be surprised if he sold the team in a couple of years. I think he's that frustrated. He's got to be. Almost going to the games. They had the worst attendance again. Last year, they didn't even draw 1 million people. I mean, it's horrible there. And now the owner of the Orlando Magic wants to bring a team to Orlando, and I said, well, why not? They ain't going to get it. There's no way they're going to put a third team in Florida. But I admire him, what he's doing. Maybe building a stadium near Disney World, near Mickey Mouse will help. I don't know. But it's just kind of funny how Florida they can't support Major League Baseball. It's pretty sad. They got two teams out there, and the Rays are good. The Rays are a good team. People are just not going. The Rays have been rumored to move to Montreal, Charlotte, Las Vegas, San Antonio, wherever they want to put them. They don't get a stadium done by 2027 with their lease rent out. They're done. They ain't coming back. They'll either be the Charlotte Rays or the Montreal Rays or the Expos or the Orlando Rays or whatever you want to call them. They're not going to be in Tampa. They don't get a new stadium. You have a good team there. A team that shouldn't even be competing. because they're so small market. They don't have the big stars. They don't have the big, you know, manager. You don't. He's not a Lou Pinella or a Earl Weaver or a Billy Martin. Very calm, quiet guy, and they're doing great. The Rays. And I feel bad for them because they're such a good team and they play in a horrific stadium and they're playing in front of like 12, 13,000 people every night. It's got to be depressing. So my heart goes out to the Rays. I hope eventually Florida will support a Major League Baseball team. I don't know if it's going to be the Rays. I don't know if it's going to be the Marlins. Maybe they'll just get rid of both. I don't know. Marlins ain't going nowhere. They just got a new stadium. Maybe they'll move to Orlando. Maybe Jacksonville. I have no idea. But I think it's interesting to see why not put a team in Orlando. It ain't going to happen, like I said. But why not? Just like San Antonio is not going to get an NFL team since they already got Houston and Dallas there. They probably support it. They would do a good job supporting a professional football team in San Antonio. But an NFL team, forget it. And speaking of expansion, I'm obsessed with expansion. Since doing this research about Charlotte getting a Major League Baseball team, I found out all these cities have been trying to get a team. I used to live in Las Vegas. I lived there for 5 years, and of course, when I lived there, we had no pro teams. The great thing about living in a city that doesn't have pro teams, you get all the networks you want. I had Arizona Diamondbacks baseball. I had Arizona Cardinal football, San Diego Charger football, or Oakland football, everything. And of course, I move, and then they get an NHL team, and now the Raiders are coming. And I saw pictures and videos of this new. So have you seen videos and pictures of this new stadium they built in Las Vegas? It's this big, black, gargantuan stadium. It's all black right now. And people said it looks like the Death Star from Star Wars. It looks amazing. It's going to have a retractable roof. I never thought Las Vegas would ever get a team. When I lived out there, they have gambling out there. That's all they do out there. People are going to fix games. It's just too tempting. But I think what's helped Las Vegas is the fantasy sports, the online sports, fantasy football, fantasy baseball. And now Las Vegas looks like they might get a pro MLB team. They're on that list with Charlotte. They just built a beautiful stadium in Summerlin called the Aviators. That's the name of their team. When I lived out there, they're called the Las Vegas. What are they called? They're the Las Vegas. They're the Aliens. My mind, what they used to be called, but they used to be called the Dallas Stars before that. And now they're the Aviators. They just led all of minor league baseball in attendance. Did very, very well. They played in this horrific stadium and the horrible part in Las Vegas. Nobody ever went to it. You build this beautiful stadium in Summerlin. People are going just like the Knights. Build a beautiful stadium in Uptown Charlotte. People started going, and then Major League Baseball saw it and said, "Hey, you know what? Let's look at Charlotte for MLB. They already got pro football. They already got pro basketball." I'm telling you, Las Vegas is on the rise. They're going to be known as a great city that they can support pro sports. They're supporting their Golden Knights. They're going to support the Raiders. And I think what the excellent thing that they did was that when they built that stadium, there's no way in the world the residents of Las Vegas would approve of that. So they put a tourist tax. They put a hotel tax on the tourists. The tourists pay for it. They pay for the Raiders' new stadium. That's the great thing about living in a tourist city. You can do stuff like that. So I'm excited to see the Raiders. My brother's a huge Raiders fan. I remember when they were in Los Angeles. I remember when they moved back to Oakland in '94. I stopped rooting for them. It's like good riddance. But I'm excited to see them in Las Vegas. I know my brother is. He'll follow them wherever they go. He loves the Raiders. So I'm excited to see a pro team in Las Vegas. I think the Raiders would do well. A lot of people are laughing at it, but Oakland just didn't want to build a stadium, and it's sad because the Raiders' last home game in Oakland. See what happened? They were throwing trash on the field. They were like getting rid of seats. They were booing them, and I'm just like, Oakland, don't get mad at the Raiders. Don't get mad at Mark Davis. He wants a new stadium. They were promised a new stadium when his dad moved them back to Oakland in '94. There's no way Los Angeles was gonna build them a new brand new stadium. They were gonna refurbish the Coliseum. They didn't want that. They moved back to Oakland. Never got their new stadium. They just kept adding on and adding on and adding on to the athletic stadium. And now they're gone. And they booed them. They threw trash at them. They got rid of seats. They vandalized the place. Get mad at the city council. Get mad at the mayor. They're the ones that screwed up on this. Mark Davis got tired of it. I don't blame him. Once they got word that he was talking to the mayor of Las Vegas and the mayor of San Antonio, as soon as he got back to Oakland, he tripled his rent, and that was it. I'm out of here. It was already contentious as it was. That was like the final straw. He just was sick of being there in Oakland. They never, ever should have moved back to Oakland. Should have stayed in Los Angeles. And honestly, the Raiders should not be in Las Vegas. Las Vegas deserves a pro NFL team. The Raiders should have went back to Los Angeles. Why the Chargers are in Los Angeles is beyond me. They can't even sell out a soccer stadium. And when you go see a Charger game, half the crowd is Steelers, Raiders. And I think the NFL is realizing that was a big screw up. Dean Spanos, God rest his soul, really botched that up. Should have stayed in San Diego or moved to St. Louis. Something. Raiders should have stayed in Los Angeles where they belong. People that are not Rams fans, they could care less about the Rams. When I lived out there, they were the Lambs. I remember when Eric Dickerson got traded to the Colts. They were a joke. They moved to St. Louis, and of course, to become the greatest show on turf with Kurt Warner and Marshall Faulk. Now they're back. And speaking of the Rams, what a disappointment they were, huh? I thought for sure they would be back in the playoffs. I didn't think they'd repeat, but I guess that Super Bowl hangover. The teams had all off season to prepare for them. Sean McVay looked like the Mozart of the NFL, looked like this child prodigy, this 33, 34-year-old head coach. Looked like, like the next best thing. We don't know. We don't know what's up with the Raiders. They look terrible. Goff, I said from the very beginning, is not a franchise quarterback. They give him all this guaranteed money. He's just not a franchise quarterback. He's a good quarterback. He's decent. Not a franchise quarterback. He needs a good defense. He needs a great offensive line to make him successful. They just don't look that good. I have no idea what the Rams are going to be back. I don't know if McVay's that's it for him. Was he like a one-done deal? Was he like this great superstar that came and all of a sudden disappeared, never heard from him again? We don't know what happens. I'm excited to see the new stadium out there. When I'm out there, I'm gonna go see it, what it looks like. I'm excited about it, where the Rams and Chargers will play. We'll see what happens with them. I don't know what's gonna happen with the Rams. We'll see. But Goff, is he the quarterback? Nah. They might make the playoffs, go 9-7, go wild card. I can see them doing that, but winning a Super Bowl and going to the Super Bowl, I doubt that happens. I'll be surprised if that happens with the Rams. And they got to make some big changes. I don't know what's up with Gurley. He looks like the next Eric Dickerson. He hadn't done anything. Goff was supposed to step it up and be an elite quarterback, and he went 2-3 steps backwards. McVay, I think the NFL figured him out already. That's what the NFL does. They figure people out. It's like Lamar Jackson. Everyone was saying he was the legend. He's the greatest. I love Lamar Jackson. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a Lamar Jackson hater, but you can't just say this guy's he has a great year and you can't say he's changed the game of football. Give him 2 or 3 years. If he can do this in 2 or 3 years, absolutely he's changed the quarterback. But you can't crown him after one season. You just can't. And look what happened in the playoffs. Now everyone said he's overrated. It's amazing. Like I said, people burning Tom Brady's jerseys. Now they're all dumping on Lamar Jackson, saying, "Oh, he's overrated. He's not all that good." No, he's a great quarterback. He's a great running quarterback. But do I think that's going to last? No, I don't. We just saw something like this with the Wildcat. Remember the Wildcat? That would be the next best thing. Pat White was going to be the next great quarterback that was going to change the faces of football. Yeah, that lasted not even a season because the NFL figured it out. So we'll see what happens with Lamar Jackson. I think he'll be the next RG3. I don't think he's going to last. Give him 2 or 3 years. And if he's doing this and take him to the Super Bowl or making them contenders and he's winning MVPs like crazy and throwing 30 touchdowns with only 6 interceptions, rushing for 1,500 yards, if he can do this for 3-4 years, man, my hat's off to him, because we've seen quarterbacks like that. It never really worked out. You know, he had Michael Vick, you had Randall Cunningham, but their careers were cut short. RG3, of course, look what happened to him. Messed up his knees, not the same. And he got Lamar Jackson, and he really impressed people. Surprised me. I always thought he's too small. I still think he's too small. But has he changed the quarterback? No. I think they'll figure it out. I think we'll see what he does next year. I don't know. I don't think he's going to completely fall off, but I don't think he's going to be throwing for 30-some touchdowns and 6 interceptions and rushing for 1,500 yards. I don't see that happening. But if he could do similar to what he did this year, yeah, he's totally changed the game. But right now it's way too early. But he's not overrated. But you got to give him 2 or 3 years and see what he can do. And, of course, unfortunately, the Ravens lost. Tennessee is the new Cinderella team of the NFL. Packers won. Chiefs, I don't know what happened to Houston. They're up, 24-0? Just absolutely fell off. And I love Deshaun Watson. I'm a huge Deshaun Watson fan. See him playing Clemson. He's a great quarterback. I'm not shocked. Cleveland Browns should have drafted him number 1. They didn't do that. Could have had him. Could have had Pat Mahomes. The Bears could have had those quarterbacks. They could have had Deshaun Watson too. They got Trubisky. I never saw him. He was okay in North Carolina. He was fine. He was all right. But he's like another Goff. He's just one great year. Next season, they figured him out. Look at how bad the Bears struggled. To me, they were the disappointing team in the NFL. They were my big disappointment. I thought for sure they'd go back to the playoffs or win the division or compete for a Super Bowl. No idea what happened to them. I guess they were a one-hit wonder. We'll see what they do next season. We'll see what a lot of these coaches do next season. We'll see what the Broncos do. Do they have their quarterback with Locke? I have no idea. He could be the next John Elway, or he could be the next Paxton Lynch. I have no clue. So a lot of question marks. A lot of question marks for the Panthers about Matt Rule. Usually very, very difficult for college coaches to succeed in the NFL. That's why I only have, 3 coaches that have won college championships and have won a Super Bowl? Jimmy Johnson, Barry Switzer, and Pete Carroll. That's it. All the rest failed or they were okay. Even Nick Saban. Nick Saban went to the NFL. He didn't do well. He got tired of it. He said, screw this, I'm going back to college. Build a dynasty with Alabama. So it's not for everybody. There are rumors that Urban Meyer might go to the NFL. I think he's done. I think he wants to spend time with his family. I'm sure he's got enough money as it is. He's going to the Hall of Fame. We all know that. See, Spurrier even went to the NFL, didn't do very well. Went back to college. It just doesn't work out. So, the odds of Matt Rule succeeding is really not that great. But do I think it's a great hire? Yeah. Was it time for them to get rid of Ron Rivera? Yeah. He's a great coach. But, like I tell people, he's not Don Shula. He's not Bill Walsh. He's not Lombardi. He was a great coach, but, did his 9 years here. I applaud him. I wish him nothing but the best. But the Panther fans think he was a great coach. Just look at his record besides Jason Garrett. They're almost identical. And I've never heard anybody say Jason Garrett's a great coach. And speaking of the Cowboys, they got a new coach in Mike McCarthy. I was surprised he went there. I really am. I thought there's no way Jerry Jones is going to get a big name head coach. There's no way. He's so controlling. He's so meddling. But Mike McCarthy went there. I applaud him. I thought they waited too long to get rid of Garrett. We all knew he was gone. But they got Mike McCarthy. I was hoping he'd go to the Panthers. I thought he'd go to the Giants if he didn't go to the Panthers. I know he wasn't going to go to Cleveland. But I applaud Dallas for getting him. I was surprised that he went there. And I hope he succeeds because I'm a huge Mike McCarthy fan. This is a head coach that people have trashed for some bizarre reason. Even the Panther fans were like, oh, God, I don't want him. He's terrible. He's won a Super Bowl. What do you mean he's terrible? How is he terrible? Sean Payton gets all this credit, and I love Sean Payton. I'm a huge Sean Payton fan. But, again, you want to look at records? Put Sean Payton's record next to Mike McCarthy's. Same record. Same winning percentage, identical wins and losses. Both have won the Super Bowl. Both have the same number of division titles. How is Sean Payton an elite coach and Mike McCarthy's not? That's crazy. He is a great coach. He did great in Green Bay. He had Brett Favre. He got absolutely skewered when Brett Favre left. They got Aaron Rodgers, and look at Aaron Rodgers. He's going to the Hall of Fame. And like Ron Rivera, it was just time for him to go. They struggled the last couple of years. He wasn't getting along with Rodgers. Rodgers wasn't shedding any tears when he left. He was kind of like glad he left. Some people think he's the one that got rid of him. Just some people need a change, Doesn't mean they're not a great head coach. Doesn't mean Ron Rivera's a bad, terrible coach. It's just time. He's been there 9 years. It's time to move on. And I hope he does well with the Redskins. And again, another meddling owner, Daniel Snyder, doesn't even know what he's doing. He's clueless. So hopefully he'll let Ron Rivera do his thing. I think they'll do great. If he lets Ron Rivera do his job, I think he'll make them a playoff team. I mean, the only way he can go is up. Can't get any worse than what the Redskins did. They got the number 2 pick. I like Dwayne Haskins. It's just been a mess there since Daniel Snyder's taken over. He's clueless. He's a clueless owner. He's James Dolan. Doesn't know what he's doing. Just throws money around. Gets all these players that are past their prime or had a couple good seasons. Look at all the players he got. Bruce Smith, he's already past his prime. Josh Norman, he was great here. He comes there. He hasn't done nothing. You got Deion Sanders, already past his prime. Albert Hainsworth. Who could forget Albert Hainsworth? What a disaster that was. All that money he gave him. And they got rid of him. Never heard of Albert Hainsworth again. He looked like a Hall of Fame tackle with the Titans. He left and was a joke. Gave him all that money. That's what he does. Just throws money around. But I think he actually made a great hire in Ron Rivera. Just let Ron Rivera do his job. Just don't be so meddling. Don't tell the coaches, hey, let's draft this player. I want this quarterback, just like RG3. That's how he lost Mike Shanahan. Mike Shanahan didn't want RG3. That's why he got Cousins. That's why Snyder got rid of Cousins, because that was not his pick. It was RG3. So he had to do whatever he can to get rid of Kirk Cousins. That was a big mistake. So I hope he does. I hope he lets him do his job. Just like I hope Jerry Jones lets Mike McCarthy do his job. Don't be so meddling. He's won a Super Bowl. Mike McCarthy knows how to coach. That's why he hired him. So don't meddle. Let them do their job. I'm not a Cowboy fan by any stretch of the imagination. I can't stand them, to be quite honest. It's not the team that I don't like, it's the fans who are still thinking this is 1991, saying, yeah, we're America's team. No, you're not. You're not America's team. You haven't done nothing in the last 20 years. That's how you guys won a Super Bowls in junior high school. You're not America's team, but getting Mike McCarthy, yeah, he'll just go to the playoffs. You have an easy division. The Giants are rebuilding. And I'm going to get to the Giants later with their head coach. That's another head scratcher right there. They got an easy division. The Redskins are rebuilding. They're not going nowhere. It's either going to be the Cowboys or the Eagles division. That's it. The Eagles are probably one of the worst divisional champions ever. It's a weak division. Anybody can have it. They haven't had back-to-back winner in that division in a decade. It's been years since I was repeating that division. It's theirs to take. It's right there. It's there for the taking. And as I said, I was talking about the Giants head coach. I never heard of this dude. Has anybody heard of this Judge guy? I haven't. That was a big letdown by the Giants. To me, that was the best job out there. You got a good young quarterback, out of Duke, of course, North Carolina. You got all those pieces there. You got a great franchise there. You got a great ownership there. They let you do your thing. But, man, the Giants have absolutely fouled up the last coaching jobs. Pat Schumer was a terrible decision. I said from the beginning, he ain't going to last. And now you got this guy, this Judge guy. Like, I've never heard of this dude. Jerry's a nice guy. I love his press conference. Very, very passionate. I love the passion. I mean, he totally won the press conference. I never heard of this dude. He was a linebackers coach for the Patriots. I'm like, okay. I never heard of him. I never heard of this Judge guy. Will he succeed? I don't know. Do I think he will? No. Especially in New York, where they're absolutely vicious out there. I'm sure they're not happy with the head coaching decision. Mike McCarthy is out there. Apparently, Matt Rule was going to interview with the Giants, and apparently, when he got all that money, he got like $60 million for 7 years. And I think with extra incentives, it's more. I think it go up to $70 million. And apparently he called the Giants up, or his agent called them up and said, can he match that offer? And the Giants said, nope. And he goes, okay, I'm going to Carolina, going to Charlotte. So I'm glad he's going. I'm glad he's, like I said, that was a great head coaching decision with the Panthers. So I'm happy with that. But, man, the Giants was the best job. I thought for sure they'd get like Mike McCarthy, Matt Rule, some big-name head coach there. Marvin Lewis, Jim Caldwell. But, man, they really dropped the ball again. They should have just kept Pat Schumer if that's what they're going to do. They knew all those coaches were gone. They knew they didn't need to make a decision right away because free agency, hey, you don't have a head coach. Why am I going to play for your team? So we'll see what happens. I don't think he'll do very well. But he was great in his press conference. I love the passion. Very, very intelligent. Very passionate. He could be the next Bill Parcells. I don't know. We'll see. We'll definitely see what happens with the Giants. We'll see what happens with a lot of these head coaching. I think Matt Patricia, I think he's gone. I think next season, this will be his final season. That was a terrible decision by the Lions to get rid of Caldwell. He was such a good coach. They got him for Matt Patricia again. The whole Bill Belichick, tree. They never do good. The only one that's done successfully is Bill O'Brien, and he's rumored every year to get fired. I heard he might get fired this season. That was terrible. Josh McDaniels, I don't think he's a great head coach. He didn't do anything with Denver. I'm glad he didn't go to the Panthers. I'm glad that he's not a head coach. I think he's going to take over for Belichick, like I said. Maybe Belichick will retire, and like Tom Brady will go to the Hall of Fame. But they're just loving that whole Belichick tree, and it just doesn't work. Charlie Weiss was a complete and utter disaster.